am post-op day 6 of having neck surgery where they took out a lymph node on the right side of my neck. Let's just start off by saying that that was a lot worse than I thought. The first initial recovery. I'm in like kind of the second phase of recovery where I still can't feel my neck and I'm still in a lot of pain, but the first couple days was like, I felt like was pure survival, and I was not prepared for what that was supposed to be. This is like the first day I feel like I could actually get up and maybe even be on camera. I'm obviously just going to film this video. I'm not doing work. I'm going to crawl back into bed. Like, I'm faking as much as I can. Like, I tried to put on some makeup. I put on my shirt that I always wear, but I can't move my face. Like, I feel like a robot, and my neck hurts so bad. But I do want to film a video before I forget what I just went through, because the first part of that recovery was so much worse than I thought. So in this video, I want to talk about basically the surgery and recovery, or the first part of recovery. So that's going to include pre-op, post-op, and then I'm going to do a check-in in a couple weeks, and I'll be able to talk a little bit better because I feel like I can't even like move my face right now. So obviously here is my neck. There's a lot of bruising. It's very gross. It's like a yellow kind of bruising, but I have stitches here. I can't feel my neck. I have a lot of nerve damage. They said it might be permanent or it might come back in a couple months. So I guess we'll just wait and see. I do have like some scarring. I mean, well, you know, like where the drain was, I initially wasn't planning on having a drain. That wasn't even something we discussed, but I had a tube in my neck, which I'll show you later. It's really gross. So be warned, I will show those photos throughout the video, but if you can't handle it, like do not watch this video because it is nasty. And I put a warning on the video and I probably can't monetize it, but I wish someone would have posted this before I had my surgery, so I knew what I was getting myself into. But anyway, this is the neck situation right now. You can see where the tube went in because it's like a circle. And then these are the stitches. I can't feel anything. It's all numb, so I can't, like my face feels very numb around the edges and my chin. Like I can't feel this. I can't feel any of this. It's like when you go to the dentist and they numb you. It's like that, but it's like it won't go away for a couple months, and it might even be semi-permanent depending on how I recover and how the nerves regenerate. But I can't feel from here over any of this all the way up through kind of the top of my ear. So it's really hard because I feel like I'm like leaning to one side. Okay, so prior to surgery, I actually was feeling okay. I convinced myself I was going on a trip. So I packed my bag, I made it feel like I was about to go on this long vacation trip. That's how I tricked myself to get into the car because I have like major anxiety when it comes to this stuff. So I just tricked myself into, oh, I'm going on a trip. It's just a trip. It's just a trip, you know? And once I got there to the hospital, I had it done at a cancer center, Providence. So I got there and they took us to a pre-op room. So I was with my brother and my mom, so that's where we took this great photo of pre-op. I'm actually looking like I'm in good spirits because I was actually excited to get this thing removed out of my neck. Little did I know I was going to go through the worst recovery of my entire life, but love the optimism there. And so we took this great photo and I felt really good going into the surgery actually. The gown actually had like this hole in it where you could put hot air into it and then it could like heat you. It was a little hot. She put on like a hot. I'm like, dang, I'm gonna get like a UTI or yeast infection if you keep this hot in here. I was like, can we turn that down? But it was good. It was like, it was very comfortable. The pre-op room, it was just my family. So that was kind of nice going into the surgery. They really struggled with the IVs because I have really small veins. I just guess that's just my thing. So they tried with the right arm for about 10-15 minutes and they couldn't get it, so they did the left arm. And that one went a little better, but I was like kind of panicking because I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't even started the surgery and I'm like already in pain and now I can't move either arm. Like both my arms are kind of bruised. So I'm like, dang, like that was not a good first start. They finally took me back to the actual operating room, and I had to move onto another like bed that had like arms, and it was a little weird and I don't remember a lot of it. And then I was out. Like I was gone after that. And I don't have any memory. I don't even remember them like telling me that they put the IV fluids in there to pass me out. I'm like, I don't remember any of that. It just was like, okay, I'm gone now. Now, after surgery, I remember waking up in one of those like wake up rooms. It almost felt like this giant room, and there were lots of people who were being woken up, very low lights. Some woman had a hysterectomy to my right. I remember that. They were freaking out about my low blood pressure, so I had like a bunch of nurses on me, giving me fluids, checking the BP, saying that it was too low, freaking out, panicking, scared the living crap out of me. And the first thing I remember looking down and being like, oh my God, is that a tube in my throat? Like I had a giant tube sticking out of my neck, and I'm like, oh no, something went wrong in surgery. And also I like the swallowing from having the breathing tube. They must have scraped the inside of my throat, because it still hurts to swallow, because that hurts so bad. I'm like, the first thing I remember is just like the tube, and then my throat just being like impossible to swallow. Now the tube in my neck was not discussed. Like we did not discuss a drain. He must have, how he told it to me is he said he didn't plan on putting one in, so he never really warned me. So the drain was disgusting, and I'm about to show a picture. So if you are not good with drains and blood, it's not that gross. It literally was like a red tube, but anyway, don't watch this. But this is what the drain looked like. It was absolutely, I look like a cyborg, just disgusting. And we didn't discuss it at all. So this thing was sticking out of my neck. I look exhausted in this photo. And then I have a zoom in. You can see that it's kind of like it's stitched. So it's stitched into my neck, which is such a weird feeling, because every time I would tug or pull, I could feel it pulling my skin. It was absolutely awful. I cannot put into actual words how painful this drain was. I can't even describe it to you. It's like something you have to go through. It was pure survival with that thing in my neck. It was the most painful thing. You can even see like the amount of bruising I have. That is not from the surgery, that is from the drain. I can tell because it's more on the right side, less by the scarring. So I'm just like, I don't have words for what that was. That shit was barbaric. But my main issue post-surgery was my low blood pressure. I struggled with low blood pressure for hours and hours after that surgery due to the anesthesia, and also just recovery, I guess. My blood pressure was just like, I also feel like it's because the tube was so gross. I was struggling so hard. I had to get so many fluids, so many like transfusions, so many things. I was supposed to be released. It's like an outpatient surgery, so I was supposed to be done early in the day, but I didn't get released till like night, and they wanted to keep me overnight, but I was like, no, I'm going home. Like I am not staying here. That was a mistake. I will realize I should have stayed that first night, because I was not prepared for what I was about to go through at home. But I was released later that night due to all the blood pressure problems and complications that I had. I was able to get my blood pressure back up, but it still was like considered low by the time that I was released. And honestly, it's been the thing that had been struggling with the most from the surgery. Now here's what the tube looked like a few days later. You can see that the drain, it's obviously not draining anymore. And then the next photo, this photo is actually taken after I got the drain removed. And you can see now I can actually see my stitches. Now I can actually see what is underneath all that situation that I had prior. But when I tell you, like, I know I talked about the tube, the drain. When I tell you I've never felt pain like that. For one, I was on Oxy, so I'm still like, I still have Oxy left that I've been taking. I've been kind of lowering my dosage now that I'm feeling a little bit better, but when that drain was in, I was taking full-blown Oxy. I've never felt pain like that. It was like a sliver. It helped like a sliver of my pain. I don't even have words to describe like what I said before. That drain, having that in, I had it in for 4 days, 3 nights, completely sleep deprived. It's impossible to sleep with this thing sticking out of your neck. It just was awful. I had a hard time breathing with it in, swallowing, eating, could barely open my mouth. It was pure survival at that point. There were a few nights where I was so sick, like I would just cry until, like, lay in one position, cry until I fall asleep, and I was getting like mildly freaking suicidal. And I do not mean that lightly. I was sitting there for like 3 days just crying and sitting in one spot. My back hurt, my legs hurt, my head hurt. I just was like literally like a stone. I look like a cyborg with this thing sticking out of my neck. It just, every time I went to the bathroom, I just like a crawl to get to the bathroom. Like it just, they did not prepare me for what that recovery was gonna be like. Now, when I actually got it removed, what they do is they literally yank it out of you. I have never felt a sickness like that. They've yanked that thing out of me. They were basically talk to you, and then they, in the mid-sentence, they just rip it out, and it's in there like this deep. So I remember being like, oh my fucking God, like, it was the most painful thing I've ever had pulled out of me. I had so much anxiety going up to that appointment, and it was like pure barbaric situation. It was nasty, but I'm just so glad that it's out of my neck now. Like I felt immediate relief even a few hours after the drain was removed, because I could like I can move my neck. I'm not great, but I can at least move it a little bit more than I could before. I am so glad that I am on the road to recovery now. Like after going through that, I thought this is how I would feel in recovery. Just a little groggy, not feeling well, definitely can't work, but still like I feel a little self-aware. Last week was just survival. I thought I was gonna be able to read. I thought I was gonna be able to relax, watch TV. No, that is not what I was doing. I was sitting and crying like that. That is not recovery. That was survival. This is recovery. But I'm just so glad that it's over. I am about, well, exactly actually 3 weeks post-op from my neck surgery. And this is what we're working with right now. It's still looking like gross. I'm not gonna lie. It's looking a little Frankenstein-ish. Although I don't see any stitches, which is nice. It's just, there's that like wobbly kind of, my skin, I don't know how to describe it. It's like wobbly or wavy. You can kind of see it almost looks like a vein. And then you can see this is my actual where they cut in, and then the tube is that kind of like dot back here. That's more scabbed over. So the stitches are inside my neck. That's why you can't see them externally. It just looks like a nice slice, which, you know, like, I think it'll heal really well, like looking at it. I do have a suture abscess, which I have just been adding hot presses to my neck, trying to like release some of that fluid, and then bandaging it up. I am done with bandages right now because I'm so annoyed with how much they're peeling my skin off my neck when I have to rip them off and change them out. So I'm kind of airing it out. I'm put some little Neosporin and a little Vaseline on it. But I'm feeling like a lot better. It's just, it's gonna take a couple weeks before this thing gets like slightly better, so it's not so nasty and gross. I will start returning to filming now that it's like a little bit better. I might wait a couple weeks before I film like a real like sit down tutorial, that kind of stuff, just because it is a little distracting. I want it to look like a scar before I start filming. This is still giving like somebody just recently sliced into my neck, which we don't love. But other than that, there hasn't been really any complications other than just the minor suture issues with the oozing, but that's under control. No big infections, nothing crazy. So I'm gonna get back to YouTube and all that stuff, but I'm just glad I filmed kind of the journey in case any of you guys go through kind of a health scare like this and surgery. A lot of my friends have actually talked about how they had surgery as well, which is, I had no idea. Some of them have had lots of things done. It's very common to have surgery and things fixed, so yeah. So this is the final update before I get back into YouTube, start filming again, all that good stuff. So now you'll know where the scar came from, what happened, everything, and then we can kind of move on and start doing more book reviews and other things that are a little bit more pleasant than health scares. One thing that is still kind of throwing me off is the fact that I still don't have any feeling in my neck. Not the whole neck, like I can feel over here, but still from like right here, I can't feel this at all. Like it's completely numb. It's like you go to the dentist and they numbed your face, but they numb my neck and then now I can't feel it. So it's really weird not being able to feel it. Like when I go to clean the scar or the scab, I can't feel it. So it's really bizarre to clean something that you can't feel and touch something that you can't feel. Like this, no feeling in the neck. and it's on the skin. Like I can feel, if I push hard enough, I can feel my throat behind it. I just can't feel any of the skin. Like the skin nerves are gone. So I hope that they regenerate. I don't know. It might be temporary up to a couple months, or it might be permanent. Like, I don't know. I'll find out. And it really extends all the way around. I know I talked about this a little bit earlier in the video, but it's really weird, like, now that I can see the scar, and I'm like, I have no pain of the scar because I don't have any, like, nerves in my neck that can pick up on the pain of this actual slice. But I can feel back here, so it's really bizarre. I can feel my face. My face doesn't feel as, like, I talked about really early on post-op that my face was feeling very weird and, like, almost tight, like almost like Botox, like tight. That's gone now. Now it's just the numbness in my neck that I just have no feeling in. The rest of my face, I feel like I'm getting my facial stuff like back. So I'm starting to feel a lot more like myself now. I will link below my previous video of how I found my neck mass and how I had all the schedules before I had it surgically removed, in case you're curious. So I will link that below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.